New year, same season. Ozone, season 2. New year, same season. City stay frozen. Big apple pressure when you step in the ozone, man. Jets, Knicks, Giants, pinstripes, orange and blue. Whole city locked in, yeah, they tuned in too. Press play, turn it up, yeah, the tone stay polling. If it's New York sports, welcome to the ozone. Welcome to the ozone. Same city, New Year, same pressure, new tone. New York, boys loud, it's the ozone.
You have entered the ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We're here. You guys officially enter the ozone. It's your boy Omar here. And for the first time here on the ozone, we're kicking off this show not talking about any of the New York teams right now. Yes, there are things to talk about when it comes to our New York sports teams. John Harbaugh officially signed with the New York Giants. We will be talking about that. Bo Bichette signing with the New York Mets. The Knicks. Is it time to panic? But we got to open this show because it's been a wild, wild weekend in the NFL playoffs. We thought last week's games couldn't get any better, but this weekend might have topped it. Was it a catch? Was it interception? It's a lot. It's a lot going on this weekend, and we got to address it. And I can't do that without the best co-host in the business, super producer Dave. Brother, it's a new week. How we feeling?
Feeling good, brother. Feeling good. It was a good weekend. The games are amazing. The news that kept coming out as we kept on going, I think this probably is the most coach firings we've ever seen, and I know we're going to get it in soon. And my Patriots move on. It's good time.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that because, guys, as I said, we are opening the show talking about what's going on in the playoffs. So let's get into it. This is Water Cooler Talk. All right, y'all, this is Water Cooler Talk. This is where we huddle around the water cooler and we talk about what's going on in sports. And right now, brother, it's the NFL playoffs. The crazy part, brother, we text each other and we said, we was gonna plan to open with John Harbaugh officially signing with the New York Giants, and we watching these games and we're instantly like, bro, we gotta reorder. We cannot save what happened, what we saw this past weekend for the middle of the show, for the end of the show. We have to talk about it. We have to give it the A block. And we have to talk about the first game of that weekend, which is the Buffalo Bills versus the Denver Broncos. I'm going to say this right now. The Buffalo Bills was robbed. They were robbed. That was a catch. That was a catch. Now, I get it. When plays like that happen in the game, everybody goes, well, that's, there's more to the game. You can mention Cook's fumble. You can mention Allen's interception or whatever and that sort of thing. Yes, I get that. There are, I wouldn't say a game is defined by one play. However, in this situation, they ruled out a catch. The game is over because then the Bills are well in field goal range. Obviously, the kicker can miss it. That's possible. Not ruling that out. However, that was a catch. And what makes it, what puts more credibility to my statement is the same thing happened the next day, and those officials called it a catch. Brother, go ahead.
Brother, yes, we can pinpoint that, yes, that was a play that is questionable. I will say that. My stance is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they had other opportunities. The Bills...
It does matter.
It matters. It matters in the sense of, yes, you lost. But there were other things that just happened. And there's another game that I want to bring up that why they lost as well. There are things that have to be done. this is a team that we have spoke about all year, right? We spoke about the Bills because we know how high they are supposed to be, where they're supposed to be. We said all year this team was supposed to go get him a real wide receiver. Did we not? The receivers that he has, what did they do? They dropped the ball. How many times in that game?
Oh, they did nothing.
They didn't help him and do any favors for him. Now, granted, yes, it sucks when the game comes down to a decision that most people will not like because the Bills are the favorites. Let's just be honest. The Broncos, Bills, we already know who's the favorite. Josh Allen is. So he's the golden child as far as most people's favorites of quarterbacks in this league. But still, there are other things that had to happen in this game. This is another overtime loss from a Buffalo Bills team that begged and pleaded to get changes into the overtime rules, and they can't get it done. I don't know, man. Like, I get it. It sucks when it happens to your team and you lose, and that happens that way. But still, that's not the only reason they lost. And I'm going to stick with that.
All right. We're going to just disagree with
Of course.
Because I get that. You're right. The wide receivers did Allen know. Like, there's a lot of drop passes. They didn't do him no justice. However, they make the catch, the game is over. I don't think, because what I'm getting at is when you mentioned like the whole overtime, another overtime when they blew it, like they didn't choke. Like I didn't look at this and was like, all right, Buffalo choked this game. No, they actually played well. They won the coin toss. They elected to kick, which is smart now, considering the overtime rules of each team has to have the possession at least once. They got the stop. They're moving the chains, and that was I almost cursed. That was a catch, bro. That was a catch. Then you make the catch. I get it. Like we said, yes, all the other things, but now those things don't matter because, okay, I guess you're not in that situation if guys handle their own in that game, but it's going to boil you down to that play. It's going to boil down to that play, and then that play got a man fired because Sean McDermott got fired.
Look,
on Monday.
And it sucks. It sucks because you also bring up another thing. All right, the Broncos move on because of a questionable call. And I don't know if people want to say this is karma. I never would want to wish this on a player. But they lose their starting quarterback.
Yeah, sports karma is what they're saying.
Yeah, they lose their starting quarterback going into it. And now they have to run in with the backup that hasn't had a rep in who knows how long. So,
look,
I just...
Obviously,
I don't... the Bills should be exactly... the Bills should be better than what they play as. And what I'm saying is this is not just questionable calls. Quarterback play also has to be there. We're also going to bring up quarterbacks in this weekend that made questionable mistakes and put their team in a bad position. Josh Allen did the same. He threw 2 picks and two fumbles. That's on him too. Is that not? We bring up every other quarterback that makes a mistake. Let's say a costly interception or something like that. That's 4 turnovers on your part.
Yeah. No, look, Allen wasn't perfect, but he had to do a lot. He ran for 66 yards, 283 passing yards. Look, man, the thing about this, right, is that Allen, and we even said it. I said, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Pause. Is that this was the year? Obviously, all the boogeymans are out. There's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar, there's no Burrow, there's no nothing. This was the year. However, I think this was probably one of the weakest teams Allen has been on, too. There's no clear-cut number 1 receiver, obviously. You know what I mean? When you have to rely on a Brandon Cooks, it's because you don't have an elite core. And now, yes, that is on the GM, not getting Waddle, refusing to trade this year's first-round pick. I think you get Waddle, it's a whole different conversation. James Cook is an elite running back. He ran for 117 yards against the number 2 rushing defense in the league when playing the run. So they was able to run the ball. As I said, I just think at the end of the day, you're right. There's mistakes that Allen made. However, what's going to be discussed is that play. And that was a catch, in my opinion. That was a catch. You can see the video. He has possession. Knee is down. The cornerback doesn't get possession of the ball until they actually roll over, and then he gets it. I don't understand why they didn't do their due diligence to review it, look at it, slow it down. They just kind of just went, all right. It was an interception. Now, Bo Nix, you mentioned it, brother. Bo Nix breaks his ankle. That's crazy. You talk about the ultimate high, get a big win, you go into the AFC Championship game, and then now you find out that your franchise quarterback's ankle's broken, and now you have to play a backup who hasn't played ever. I think he's played what? They said 4 games in the last 4 years or something like that. Jason Stidham, is it Jason Stidham?
Jarrett Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. So let's talk AFC. So now let's pivot to
real quick
boys.
Before we move on to the AFC.
Go ahead.
Here's another questionable decision. Okay, you let go of Sean McDermott, and I get it, right? Because at the end of the day, he's the coach, and this has been another.
I think that was the right move. Right. I think that was the right move.
I think you also clean house because you're now promoting the GM as the president
100%.
of the Bills.
Totally
and
agree.
This is a roster that he just constructed. So, yeah, we can fault Sean McDermott as much as he wants, but the GM did no favors for this team to be built.
Bro got promoted. Yeah. He got promoted.
How you get promoted and you've done nothing? Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You probably played a part in everything else, but you did nothing to help this team as of this year. You should be out the door with him too.
Yeah. No, I agree. Now that tells me, look, my boss is a big Bills fan. He thinks that with them keeping the GM and them getting rid of McDermott, it's a strong possibility that this was more of an Allen decision. Which is fine, franchise players do, I don't mind them having a say in their franchise, so I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on, but I have no problem with it. I think, at the end of the day, they, McDermott has been there, and they couldn't get over the hump, and hopefully they can find a coach. I'm just happy that this news came out after John Harbaugh signed on the dotted line. So, but we'll talk about, as we said, the Broncos is moving on. They're playing against your New England Patriots because your New England Patriots, as I said, what did I write to you? May the path get easier and easier for your boys. Look, man, at the end of the day, you play who you got to play. And this game, I want to just talk about C.J. Stroud. Horrible. Straight horrible. I don't know why D'Amico Ryans, it's D'Amico Ryans, right? The coach. Why didn't you bench him? I don't understand. You talk about, and it's funny because we talked about the Bills game. Josh Allen took responsibility, and then, his teammate was like, nah, this was on us. This was on Allen. This is on C.J. Stroud. Their defense couldn't have played that game any better. Dan Orlovsky said it on ESPN, and I totally agree with him. A bad quarterback wins that game for the Texans. A bad quarterback. It's just, homeboy was horrible. And the decision-making, what are you doing? There's plays that you're like, bro, even a person throwing the football outside the street is not making that pass. It's unbelievable. It's arguably one of the worst performances I've seen from a quarterback in a playoffs or championship or any kind of big game situation. This was horrible. It was horrible. The game was had, and I'm not trying to minimize you guys, brother, but the game was had for Houston. The game was had. That defense played phenomenal, created a lot of turnovers, made life very difficult for New England. Now, New England did the same. New England did the same. They took advantage of this dumb quarterback. However, C.J. Stroud plays a decent game. They're in the championship game, I believe, against the Broncos.
And brother, this was a game that I think there was over 10 turnovers. If I'm not mistaken, there was a lot of turnovers in this game. And I mean,
but it was great defensive style. The defense stepped up on both teams. It
was a great defensive game. The problem is, and everyone had voted, and this is not even an us against them thing. This is more so everyone had voted the Texans would win this game because of their defense, right? But the defense was out there. Nobody ever gave credit to that offense going into this game. Nobody said, C.J. Stroud is going to be the guy who, can push them over the hump. Everything was about this defense. And what happened? We've seen what we already have talked about in lengths about C.J. Stroud and how bad he is. Because at the end of the day, they won games, You know who? Davis Mills, the guy that they should have benched C.J. Stroud halfway through this game.
Mills,
They should have benched it for him because he won them some games with that defense. CJ Stroud,
Bro,
you
CJ
talk
Stroud
like
is...
as if you're one of the elite quarterbacks, and I do not even put you in my top 15 in the league right now. I really don't.
Bro, he put himself in the top 5. He was with Gilly the Kid in the podcast, and he had
Him,
himself
and
in
then
the
the
top 5.
podcast that he kept
He
doing
put
with
himself.
Micah Parson. He talks
Yeah.
too much,
Yeah.
and I don't like people when they talk and they can't back it up. Now, my team
100%.
did what they had to do because at the end of the day, you took opportunities over turnovers because of CJ Stroud's bad decision making, and the defense put them in a hard position. I don't think CJ Stroud threw Gonzalez's way more than 4 times. That eliminates half your field already there. They're on Gonzalez Island.
Well, we got to keep in mind, though, it did suck that they didn't have Nico Collins.
Absolutely.
That's the number one wide
The path became
receiver. Number
clear.
one wide receiver. That played a part, too.
I'm not going to pretend like that wasn't a decision. And then they lost their tight end as well.
Yeah.
They lost Dalton Schultz. So, yes, were they handicapped?
Dalton Schultz,
Absolutely.
that was bad, man. But that was more towards the end of the game.
No, he was early.
I think the game...
He was early, Dalton Schultz.
With the knee, right?
Dalton Schultz was early. I think he got in the second quarter. He was done.
Oh, I'll check.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I could have swore I thought it was the game.
Then they lost their other one, and they were back up to their backup tight end. That's what it was.
That's okay. So that's what I'm getting mixed up with.
Yeah,
Okay,
they were up to their third
right,
string tight end. Like this, the Patriots took opportunity, and you did what you had to. You had to be who's in front of you. Now, granted, everybody touted this Texans defense, but we already knew you and I knew what the Texans offense was, and if anybody had confidence in this game, it was because of the Texans defense. Run it back with that same team on the defense, and just find something to do with CJ Stroud because, homeboy.
Yeah. So Drake may have 4 fumbles. He lost 2.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Interception, and the defense was insane. And then obviously we know that CJ Stroud threw 4 picks. Horrible, bro. Like, they were horrible. I could see, like, obviously you look at the context of interceptions, and then you'd be like, okay, like, the context where it's like the ball got tipped, wasn't on the quarterback or whatever. But then you get what CJ Stroud was doing, and you're just like, bro, what, like, unbelievable. And I just don't get how D'Amico Ryan just didn't bench him.
And then,
like, I don't get it.
So now the Patriots go into a matchup next week against the Broncos, and that's another tough defense. That is one of the defense that I actually favor over the Texans. And it doesn't help when the offense doesn't have a quarterback that's going to be like. I don't have the highest confidence in Jarrett. Do I think he can at least throw for 150 yards? Maybe. But it's one of those situations where the Broncos defense may be put in. You have to create points from those turnovers because otherwise I can't rely on my offense. And then the Patriots offense is back out there again because we're exhausted. We've been playing this game too long.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna hold my opinion on the AFC matchup when we get to picks of the week. Let's move over to the NFC, brother. Seattle Seahawks. I don't think there's really much to talk about with this game. We said it last week that the injuries for the Niners was going to eventually catch up to them, and that's what happened. The Seahawks is, obviously they had concerns about Sam Darnold, but this Seahawks team is steamrolling. Like, everything is clicking on all cylinders for this team, offensively, defensively. And I just didn't think the Niners had a chance. To be honest, I really didn't, because they just battled too many injuries, and the score showed it. 41-6. They abused the Niners. You know what I mean? Sam Darnold, not overly impressive. 12 for 17, 124 yards. But Kenneth Walker ran for 116 yards. Cooper Kupp made 5 catches for 60 yards. Kenneth Walker 3 catches. Smith and Jigba only had 3 catches, and look what they did. This is good. This is a heavy favorite. This is a powerhouse team. And you got anything on this, brother, before we move to the arguably the best game of the weekend?
I will say this: the NFC matchup is looking really good for next week, and that defense for Seattle, and they're gonna be home next week. Oof. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. And they're playing the Rams, brother. As you mentioned, the Rams overtime win 20-17 against the Bears.
Game of the weekend.
What a game.
Game of the weekend.
What a game. What a game. First of all, shout out to Mother Nature, because football should be played in the cold and the snow. And we got that. We got that in New England. We got it here in Chicago. I just like that's when I look at playoff football, I want it in the snow. I want it in the cold. And look, this game was crazy, man. This game was phenomenal. You got, the obviously Caleb Williams is not a rookie, but still young whippersnapper against the vet. And although, Caleb Williams, he did turn over the ball a lot, 3 interceptions, but he came through when it mattered on a big play to Cole Kmet. And, DeAndre Swift had a good game. He ran for 76 yards. Caleb Williams ran for 40. Kyle Monungai, man, he's gonna be good. Like, he is someone to watch. And Loveland, like, those are like guys I'm gonna be looking at next year in the fantasy draft, because I think those guys are really gonna they're gonna blossom. Because I don't know, I like this team, but the vets, man, the veterans, the poise of the Rams to come into that building. The crowd was going crazy. That play that happens that Caleb Williams makes to send it to overtime. Usually plays like that don't happen, and you against you, and you win, and you end up winning the game. So shout out to Matthew Stafford. He balled out, MVP like numbers, 20 for 42, 258 yards, no touchdown, but it was a muddy game, man, and his ability not to turn over the ball. Because I know Matthew Stafford, he did fumble it twice. But did he lose it? No, he didn't lose it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he pretty a relatively clean game outside of that, But look, man, like you said, this is a collision course. The Rams and the Seahawks. This is going to be the third meeting between the two. But this game right here, if you're a Bears fan, you gotta be happy about what you guys done this year and what to expect next year.
Yeah, you guys got a future to build on as far as Bears fans go. There's obviously it's upsetting to not be moving on, and this is one of those, like, we always say, like, I think, and we spoke about it earlier. There's no such thing as a good loss because you still lost, but this is one of those that you feel like you can hang your hat on and be like, you know what, my team played great. We just need to, like, get a few more pieces and we can move on to next year. And I'm confident where my team stands up this year. The Rams were clearly the favorites going into this game. And this is where you see, once again, that playoff time, running back play is important. Kyron Williams only had 87 yards but he had 2 touchdowns. And this is, if you can run the ball in the playoffs, especially in the cold, you're good. Make no mistakes. You rely on your defense. And you know what? The Rams defense doesn't get as much credit as they should, especially in this game. Get it? Caleb Williams is young. This is his first playoff experience. But still, you got to hang your hat on that Rams defense because they play great.
No, yeah. So, big week, man. I think outside of the Broncos. The Broncos and the Rams, we were talking about it, for a couple friends of mine. We were talking about that the teams that played this past weekend, outside of the Rams, well, obviously the Rams, the Bills and stuff like that, but just 50% of those teams didn't make the playoffs last year. You know what I mean? And that's good. Like, you like to see different teams and stuff like that in it. So, but these were phenomenal games, and I don't see how the conference games are going to be. What I'm trying to say is that the conference games, I think they even get better. They're evenly matched teams. It just does suck. It does suck that Bo Nix is hurt. But it's still going to be a challenge. It's still going to be a challenge for your boy May in Denver. Obviously, it's always been a tough place to play, regardless. And then Stafford having to go in Seattle is going to be a true test, and it's going to be also a true test for Sam Darnold. I think, although Donald played fair, he played well enough for them to win the game, obviously. But this is going to be a different challenge, playing this Rams team. So, shout out to the NFL, man. The NFL has, it's a good look for the NFL because most of their playoff games have been exciting and talked about. Obviously, whether it's negative as far as the controversial calls or whatever. And but it's been good for the NFL.
One more thing before we move on from the NFL. Shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to Jay-Z and making the decision to have Green Day open up the Super Bowl. If there's ever been a rock band that's been very vocal about the way that they feel about the state of this country and this administration, Ooh,
So what? Green Day is what is gonna is what are
they're doing
what
the
is Green
opening
Day
ceremony for the Super Bowl.
doing?
This is a band that is not shy.
What the hell? But what is the opening
I don't
ceremony? I
know.
have no idea what
Probably
that
just
is.
like a performance that they'll have before the game starts. But I'm just saying, like,
I'm like, wait, they have a performance before the Super Bowl? I didn't know
yeah, I
that.
mean, it's Super Bowl now, so let them treat it bigger. I mean, you know what? We probably won't see it because it's not on TV as much, but this one will be. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll tell you this. We talk about it. And it's no shade. It's no shade. I would just say is the God honest truth. This was the perfect Super Bowl to have Bad Bunny because if you think about it, like I was telling my boy, it was like there's no big name. There's no Mahomes. There's no Allen. There's no Lamar going to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Stafford's been in the league for a long time. Stafford's never been looked at as like the face of the NFL. So it's like you're gonna have teams that, for the most part, are just they're not the big, they're not on the
No.
billboards of NFL promotions. So it's like I think if it's any Super Bowl to have arguably the biggest mega star right now would be this Super Bowl. So and then having Green Day is that's gonna get a lot of people upset. But brother, let's stay with football because we got to talk about the New York Giants because they made some news. They made people nervous a little bit, but as Kendrick Perkins would say, everybody keep a cool booty because things got settled. Guys, let's get into it. This is Clockwork. All right, y'all. This is Clockwork. This is where we talk about the Giants and Jets. They're officially on the clock to get things going this off season, and we're gonna be talking about not the Jets this week because the Jets really didn't make any news. Although I do feel like the Jets should be calling a person by the name of Mike Tomlin and seeing if he wants to coach.
Brother, I have thoughts about that real quick because I
But
know we don't want to cover the Jets too much because we already spoke at length about how bad they are.
yeah,
Brother, if I am the Jets organization, I am doing whatever I can because the rumor is that Tomlin wants to take a year off, right? I'm doing
yeah.
everything I can to make sure that next year Mike Tomlin is signed. This year, build up your draft. Next year, bring in a quarterback with the new coach. Aaron Glenn, you're out of here.
Yeah. Maybe it was smart that they didn't fire Glenn because you got so many options that the Jets would be last. The Jets would literally be getting scraps. So maybe it is smart that they fire now. They can fire Glenn next year. It may not be, that many spots. So Mike Tomlin, if he does decide to come back, may not have that many options and just go to the Jets. But you are right about that. But the Giants got their coach. As the Giants and John Harbaugh officially agreed to a 5-year, what is it, $100 million, basically getting 20 per. Right? Yeah, five for 20. I'm excited. I'm excited. The Giants finally now have a coach that is going to bring accountability, structure. Boy, this team lacked that, brother. This team lacked it. You heard the stories this year of guys showing up late, guys sleeping in practice, guys not holding others accountable, and that's going to stop with John Harbaugh. And yes, the news last week was that he was going to sign, and then there was something going on about whether he didn't officially sign yet, so guys got worried, and obviously a lot of the insiders are just reporting, look, they're just ironing out the kinks. And one of the interesting kinks that I found, brother, that they said, John Harbaugh, basically they asked him, and he's going to be reporting to John Mara, which is very interesting because that totally goes over Joe Shane. You know what I mean? Why have Joe Shane as general manager or president or whatever title he is? Why have that if Harbaugh is going to be speaking with Mara when it comes to decision making on rosters? That's the one thing I don't get. Now, I'm not hating it. I could care less about Joe Shane's feelings or whatever, but I just found that interesting that the coach is going to the owner and not the general manager.
Yeah, it's a questionable thing, especially just why have a GM at all? Like, just get rid of the position, or at least for while John Harbaugh is there. Um, this is definitely, I can say this. It's not going to be a happy marriage when it comes to Joe Sheen and Harbaugh. And it can go great if when you're winning, everything goes great, right? Everything is beautiful. But if there's any kind of friction, I can already see Joe Sheen being out that door. I can already see it happening
100%.
because that locker room is going to gravitate towards Harbaugh. Now, granted, that also happens when you show that you're going to want to win, that you're showing accountability, and you're showing that your players are being rewarded for the hard work that they put in practice and OTs and all that stuff. OTA, sorry. Um, Brother, this is gonna be a really thing. This is something to be in. It's gonna be in the microscope. I stumbled there, but it's gonna be under the microscope. This team with John Harbaugh and having Joe Sheen there, like, why not just let him go, rip the Band-Aid, and just start a new regime
Yeah.
completely?
Yeah, I honestly think that if this season goes this new season, if it goes a little left, just slightly left, I think Shane is out.
Right.
I think Shane is out. I think that the writing's on the wall with
And
that.
I think with good coaching, which we expect from John Harbaugh.
Hold on,
Yeah.
brother. Hold on. I just want to shout out this breaking news. Ian Rappaport reported that Zach Charbonnet is headed for surgery.
Oof.
So that's going to be a big one as the Seahawks knee injury. So he's going to be out the rest of the playoffs. So that dual running back threat that the Seahawks possess no longer have that. But go ahead, brother.
Honestly, I think the Giants are in a position with right coaching to be at least making a contention for the playoffs. You already have the Cowboys as questionable as they ever could be. I don't know who the commanders are because Jaden Daniels was hurt a lot this year, and I still have questions about him. The Eagles are the only team that I like. Obviously, is a front runner to win that division, but you guys are in contention with the right coaching because you guys already made some noise with what you had this year with Jackson Dart, Scatabo, and Neighbors. Now let's have them all three play together, and whatever you guys end up drafting, which we're hoping is another weapon for your guys. But you guys are in serious contention to be there, and it's a turnaround that you want to see. We already see coaching changes can really go well for you if you make the right one.
Right. No, 100%. 100%. We see it in the Bears. We see it in the Bears. You know what I mean? You guys, 100%. So yeah, yeah. But let's see how that happens. But brother, more sad news because we got to pivot to our New York Knicks. Not looking good right now, guys. Let's get into it. This is This Week in Knicks.
This Week in Knicks.
All right, y'all. This is This Week in Knicks. This is where we cover our New York Knickerbockers. And brother, man, it's been tough. Tough week for the Knicks. People are panicking, man. People are panicking. They the Knicks lost 9 of the last 12 games or something like that. Excuse me. It hasn't been fun. I'll be honest. It hasn't been fun watching the Knicks right now. The problem I have with this is that they look like a completely different team. And I don't even want to get to the games because I think it's irrelevant because I'm more concerned about how this team is playing as opposed to, the competition or whatever the case may be. This team looked like a well-oiled machine as they were on the brink and eventually won the NBA Cup. They were playing phenomenal. Ball movement, everything. But now you lost that. The Knicks have lost that. The Knicks look lost in the offense now. Like I said, I get it. There are some injuries. Josh Hart missed a few games. Josh Hart missed over 10 games during that span. Brunson has missed a couple games, but this has been going on even with Brunson in the lineup. And, Cat, I don't know. Cat looks lost, man. Cat, I don't know. He doesn't look comfortable in the offense. Everyone knows he's the way he drives. Everyone knows he's doing a pump fake driving, and everyone knows that. That's why they steal the ball. And he's not getting the calls. He's not getting the calls. You know what I mean? And he's really, you can see he's letting that frustrate him. Mikal Bridges, we need a little bit more. I've never been one with the pitchforks talking about, wow, we gave up 5 picks for you. But, bro, we gave up 5 picks for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not holding your own, man. Like, we need you to be a little bit more aggressive. We need you to look more for your shot. You know what I'm saying? And OG's trying, but OG don't have this in his bag with the crossover, and OG also, sometimes, he loses the ball when he's trying to, you know what I mean? Like, this Knicks team, I don't know what needs to happen. Maybe at the deadline, try to bring in a particular role player or whatever that can maybe spark up this team. But right now, things look a little bleak for our New York Knicks, brother.
Brother, they're 2-8 in their last 10. They look horrible.
Yeah, 2-8.
They look horrible. This is not the same team that we were praising in December. This is a completely different team at this point. Same players, same coaching, everything's there. I just don't get it. The heart is back, right? I don't know. This team the defense is falling apart. The scoring isn't looking great when we do have it. And that West Coast trip was definitely tough on us. I'm not gonna but it's the schedule. It's the end of the day. You have to perform, and that doesn't make up for losing games like the way that they did to the Suns or the Warriors. And it's just like, I think the Knicks need a reset badly. That All-Star break can't come soon enough. And even then, I wish the players weren't in that All-Star game so they can actually just rest.
Yeah, 100%. I think something needs, this has been a tough month. And as of this recording, they'll be playing Brooklyn tonight. Obviously, we don't know if they're gonna win on Monday. I wish I could be as confident right now and say, well, at least that game Monday against Dallas will be a win. But I did that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, I think we should beat the Kings, and then we got smoked. Jalen Brunson gets hurt 4 minutes into the game. The Golden State game was very frustrating to watch. You know what I mean? You saw the dirty play from Draymond Green, and then you see Mike Brown hugging and being all playful. I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. I can't stand Draymond Green. I can't. And then they lose to Phoenix at home. I'll say this, as I said, guys, we're recording on Monday, so we don't know if the Knicks will beat Dallas. I'll tell you this: if they lose to Dallas on Monday, I don't know. I feel like something drastic's got to happen because you're going to be playing a team with no one playing, more or less. They should not lose that game. I don't know if Brunson and Hart are going to play. They're questionable, but something's got to give. Brother, let's get to the schedule in hand. They're playing, like I said, Brooklyn tonight. Then they have Philly on Saturday. So they basically got 2 games this week. Get wins, guys. Get wins. And change this narrative. I'm not going to panic, but there are reasons to be concerned. I'll just say that.
And I'll say this.
You got any final words, brother?
Yeah, as of the time of this recording, we don't have the official release of the All-Star cast, but
the start is going to
announce the start. By the time I'm done, by the time I'm editing, that will be official release. So right now, boom, I will put you the NBA All-Star lineup for the East and West, and then hopefully, I already know that Brunson's already like a top 2 in there, and then Cat rounds it out around 7. As of the current standings, I believe as of last week or 2 weeks ago, I expect those guys to already be playing in that game. But like I said, this team needs rest, and that's what I'm going to keep saying. 100%. They need rest.
Yeah, this team, yeah. And, I get it. Like, people want to unload on Mike Brown, and Mike Brown has done some questionable things, but look, man, I'd rather be going through this now than to be going through it in April. So get it out now, get all your struggles out now, and finish strong. Get through this tough month of January, and then move on and get strong.
You saw the last thing. You saw that thing from Mitchell Robinson.
Excuse me, y'all. I did. I don't know what he means by that. It's very cryptic. I don't know if he thinks he's going to get traded. I have no idea.
Yeah, today,
it's interesting.
As of today, a post was released. Today's the 19th, yes. A post was released by Knicks Fans TV. This is from Mitchell Robinson's Facebook. And what he said was, "Thank you, everyone, for checking on me. I feel a million times better. I just had a mental breakdown, realization, check, which I really needed. After talking to most of you, really made me think and gain confidence in myself. So I say that to say, no matter what life throws at you, remember who you really are without you being a big-hearted person. The ones that turned on you wouldn't be able. Boy, you need a period. Jesus Christ, what a sentence. No matter what life throws at you, remember who you really are without you being a big-hearted person. The ones that turned on you wouldn't be able to do what they're doing right now if it wasn't for you, and that's a fact. Be proud of yourself, because not everyone in the world just want to see you win in life. Show up. Just grammar. That's my comment right there, grammar, because that was a long-winded sentence. Any thoughts there, brother? I thought he was going to trade too.
Mitchell Robinson, this is not the first time he's very active in social media, but I don't know. Maybe he's the crazy part is Mitchell Robinson. If let's say for instance, if he is getting traded or in conversation, that means the Knicks got something big ahead because he will be a big uh, money piece. You know what I mean? He makes a lot of money. So if they would be shipping off Mitchell Robinson's contract, that's because they plan on, I would assume, bringing someone big, because obviously that's why Mitch would get traded, money and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I'll tell you this is just the wrong timing for it. It's the wrong timing for it right now. So I don't know. They need to figure that out. They need to clean that stuff. I hate when things like that come out. Clean that stuff up. Take care of that in-house. Don't need to make it public to people like us, so then we could just speculate and just make matters worse. So I'm not feeling that. But brother, before we pivot to NFL picks of the week, we gotta highlight that Bo Bichette is a New York Met. Bo Bichette signing a 3 year, $126 million deal. Basically, he has an opt out after the first 2 years, so he can opt out. He has a phenomenal year with the Mets. He can opt out. Obviously, this was big for the Mets. I like the signing of it. I know he'll be playing third base. This is for he's never played third base before. But I like what he brings. He brings power. He can steal bases. Hit him in that lineup in between Lindor and Soto, I like very much. Big move. Obviously, this just it's just puts more emphasis on what the Yankees are doing. Other teams are trying to get better right now, and the Yankees are just sitting on their ass.
The great pivot move by the Mets. I'm happy they're actually doing something to improve this roster. But the Bo Bichette was a player that we were looking at, so I'm not even going to pretend like this was anything that we didn't want to see for ourselves. So
Yeah. And now you're hearing that the Mets still might be in on Cody Bellinger. The Yankees are not going to, as they say, the Yankees are not going to blink. They feel that their offer is fair, but right now Bellinger is not agreeing to it, and now you're hearing that the Mets might be interested in Cody Bellinger. And if they can get him, man, this Met team, hey, can't be mad at it. You cannot be mad at it. I think that would definitely make up for letting Alonso and Díaz go.
Yep.
If you can now reel in Cody Bellinger alongside, Soto, and already having Bo Bichette and Lindor. So, shout out to the Mets, man. Shout out to the Mets. That was a good signing. That was a good signing for them. I shout out to them. But brother, we gotta make some picks because we are 1 week away from the Super Bowl. We're from knowing who will play in the Super Bowl. So let's get into this NFL picks of the week. All right, y'all. This NFL picks of the week. This is a super duper. Did I say it again?
Producer.
Super duper producer. Try saying that 3 times. This is where Dave and I are gonna make picks for the NFL conference games. And brother, let's start off with I believe you guys play first. Patriots and the Broncos. You know what's funny? I'm jinxing every team that I pick. Every team that I pick, yeah, I think this team's gonna make the Super Bowl. No, they lost. Last week, remember, I said
So
Bills.
do you want to do it again, please? Just do it. Just do it.
So
You
I
can't vote
don't.
for that team. Come
No,
on, you can't do it in your heart. You can't do it.
I'm gonna be honest though. I think y'all gonna win. I really do. I like the quarterback situation. Bo Knicks was playing. I would have went with Denver. But I think you guys are gonna win. I don't. You guys are gonna make y'all gonna make it really uncomfortable. For Stidham I got the Pats.
Yeah, this is a team that turned it around. They went 14-3 this year after being 3-14 the previous year. No, yeah, I got that right. Vrabel has shown that he is the head coach that the Jets should have gotten a chance to sign, but the Patriots got away with getting him. And what a difference a coach can make. It's unfortunate for the Broncos that they did lose Stidham, but you have to play who's in front of you, and that's the guy, our former quarterback that we drafted. And that defense is going to make it uncomfortable for me as well. Don't get me wrong. I think the Broncos defense is better than the Texans defense, so it's going to be a tough one for us.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's gonna be tough. But I just think
But Patriots,
you guys are gonna make it really tough for Stidham. So Patriots, obviously. Then we got the NFC Championship game. This one is tough, man. Rams, Seahawks. We mentioned Zach Cabernet is out, so that's a little tough, for the Seahawks. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like the Seahawks this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. We're going Seahawks. All right, Seahawks. I'm gonna take the home team.
Brother, I'm with you again on this one too as well. I got the Seahawks, and I think it's just because that crowd will make it really tough. Don't get me wrong. The Rams have Puka, they have Devontae, they have Kyron Williams, they have all the pieces that they need, and Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. But I think that defense gets it done. And Sam Darnold, if you eliminate the mistakes as much as possible and just play your game, you got this in the bag.
Yeah, 100%. Right. I think that's going to be the Seahawks recipe, like the whole way. It's Matthew Stafford. I mean, not Matthew Stafford. Sam Darnold. Protect the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You protect the ball, you win. Basically, I think the Seahawks is that good. You protect the ball, you're gonna win. That simple. But it's tough. A division team, you playing them for the third time. Everyone knows each other. Everyone knows the playbooks. Everyone knows their schemes. It's gonna go down to the quarterbacks making the right reads, and I guess you gotta favor Stafford in that sense. But I just think the Seahawks defense is good enough where maybe they can create a couple turnovers on Stafford and Smith and Jigba, man. This is it. This is the game. Ball out.
And I will be cashing
All
in
right.
my Publix tender sub this weekend coming up, brother.
No, I'm not answering my phone. All right, y'all. So we can't wrap up a show without sharing you guys the highlight of the week. So let's get into it.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. Highlight of the week. We kind of said it. I think I kind of spoiled it in the first segment, but it's going on to Caleb Williams, man, and Cole Kmet. A phenomenal play. I'm gonna be honest. I thought the game was over. And Cole and I just like, he just heaved it. You know what I mean? But finds Cole Kmet at the end zone with seconds left, man, and sends the game to overtime. Chicago up in a frenzy. At that moment, brother, I just thought the Bears was destined to win. But what a play from Caleb Williams.
Brother, this game, this was only technically a 14-yard pass, but it actually went in the air for 51.2 yards in the air. And it was just a heave. And honestly, the defender on this play, and I forgot who was it exactly, he looked like if you were playing Madden, you pressed the triangle or Y button too early. That's exactly what he looked like. And Cole Kmet just happened to be at the right spot at the right time and just brought it in. It was an amazing play. This was the highlight of the week for sure.
Yeah, no, big moment, big play, big time play by both guys. It just sucks that they lost, man. That's one of those, that's a tough one. But at least you guys may have not made the NFC Championship game, but you guys did, get acknowledged here. The Ozone for highlight of the week. But guys, we thank you so much. For the continued support. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe. This, share it on the group chats. This is how we get on the algorithm. This is how, this is how we get love, man. So, guys, remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are available on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, and Reddit. Guys, this is this is where you're gonna get the news. Actually, funny enough, my cousin called me and he's like, "Yo, I found out that Bo Bichette signed with the Mets through the Ozone." He's like, "Yo, even before ESPN." I was like, "That's what we do." So this is why it's important to follow us on our social media platforms. In between episodes, guys. And remember, get these episodes out, share them with your friends, man, and do all that good stuff. So, brother, we'll tap in next week. Let's see. Is your team are we gonna be talking about your team going to the Super Bowl next week? Or are we gonna officially include the New England Patriots to clockwork? Let's see. But guys, we'll tap in with you guys next week for a brand new episode of the Ozone where we deliver the fire. Peace.
Turn it up, yeah, the tone stay polling. If it's New York sports, welcome to the Ozone. Woo. Welcome to the